Hello, I'm doing a second video debriefing my trip to Roaring Spring yesterday. The Mennonite part is over, and now once I got into Roaring Spring, I did my regular thing. Mm, I usually stop at the hardware store. I stopped at the meat market. Uh, I looked at the sign about Bedford or Roaring Spring Borough, on the ground, all beautifully landscaped, and it doesn't say anything about the fountain or the spring itself, and nothing about being world famous. So it's quite a different uh, public display from what clearly was there for quite a while on Bloomfield Road coming into Roaring Spring. So I did that, and then I stopped at the borough office. Now, that's not like me very much to do that, but I had two questions, and I actually still have those two questions, but I now know how I can get the answer. Uh, I I thought that maybe Lisa, she's the borough manager. I thought she might just know, but she wasn't there. Anyway, first question was, if somebody is going to put a tool shed or something like that in their backyard, uh, it, does it how big does it have to be uh, in order to pass code? Um, See, where I live here in the township of Bedford, uh, on a farm, well, possibly even in Bedford, I don't know, but here in the township, if something is smaller than 100 square feet, it doesn't have to meet code, and it isn't doesn't have electricity arriving to it, except an extension cord maybe. Uh, no water to it, no septic, no sewer, just a building like that. And if it's smaller than 100 square feet, it doesn't have to be inspected. It doesn't have to get what do you call it, a permit to be built. You can build really anything you want, and you can build as many as you want. I mean, that sounds incredible, but 100 square feet is very small. Uh, I don't know if that's true in Bedford Borough, and I don't know if it's true in Taylor Township, and I don't know if that's true in uh, Roaring Spring Borough, but I'd like to know. And the other thing is, I wanted to know if there is any kind of a organization there that sort of polices, in effect, what one does with their house. Like, I think there are homeowners associations, HOAs, uh, where, like I said, if somebody wanted to paint their house orange with purple trim, would they be allowed to do that in Roaring Spring? Is there any kind of a group that polices that? And the woman that was there said that's another question for Tom. Uh, and she gave me his card. He is well, it's an official position, so I guess I might as well say his name, Tom Holsinger. Uh, it's a official position of, uh, I think it's called maybe building inspector and code enforcer for the borough. Uh, and I have his card. He actually is on my group, in my group, the Once and Future Roaring Spring. He's one of the 30 or so members, and that Facebook group is only about 3 weeks old. So he was one of the first to join it. So we'll see. I'll contact him and get those questions answered. All right, the last stop that's worth telling, when I stopped at Danny Kay's, once again, Sheena wasn't there. Her grandmother now is still sick. I mean, they've had health problems for the last month or so. But there was a pleasant woman that I spoke to for a while that was sort of sitting in there, occupying the spot and helping. And I I don't remember her name actually. But anyway, I went on then, and bought a quart of chili, which I usually do. Oh, and I'd gone up to the meat market. Well, anyway, the brewery, I had plenty of time, so I did my walk down the parking lot and down some stairs to right by the train track. Uh, I wasn't passing any signs that said I couldn't. So, and I was really closely examining that mountain. Now that the principal building has come down, the last of the big buildings, you can get a lot better idea of what that site once looked like before there was a mill there. So I slowly walked that, and I walked up, and then I came up by where the grist mill was, and studied more to try to figure out where exactly was that water wheel that drove DM Bear's grist mill before they tore it down. And so I was looking around, and I do that about every time because I can still see through the brush. The leaves are coming out. I can't see as well as I could. But anyway, I was standing there looking at this stuff, and I hear this voice say, "Did you lose something? Or are you looking for something?" I think he said, "Did you lose something?" And I looked around, and it was a man. He'd come out of the old police station. His car was parked there, and he was putting something in his trunk, I think. And I said, no, I explained I was just looking at where the water would have run. Well, the amazing thing was he is the tenant of the upper two floors of, I'm going to still call it the old police station, but he called it the Municipal Building. And I did not realize that it was also the fire department was on the fire station was on the first floor. I didn't know that. But he didn't know. He'd lived in those two floors for 5 years as a tenant. And he had no idea that there was ever a grist mill beside it or a water wheel there, the stuff that I was looking at. And he was fascinated by that. And wanted to know more, and so we talked for quite a while. He's a retired train engineer, then became brakeman from Altoona, but he looked for a quiet place to move in his retirement, and that's where he lived. And we had really a lovely conversation, and I'm sure I'm going to hear more from him. His name is Mark. I won't give his whole name. I could. I don't think he would care, but I know it. That conversation was a second highlight of my trip to Roaring Spring yesterday. All right, bye for now.